Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Peter Mackay, Sam Kumo operating the cameras tonight, and we're here for round 5 of the championship. 2 races tonight round the circuit Zolder. Peter, we were just here about a week and a half ago in the Radical Racing Challenge. Not a bad event in that occasion. A little bit different in these cars, maybe not quite the heritage of GTE cars around this circuit, but it's still a unique one. First time we visited here in Apex Racing League GT history as well, so well, it'll be a new challenge for the drivers.
That it will. Yes, it will be indeed a new challenge for the drivers, and these GTE machines, they are very, very fast, obviously a little bit quicker than their GT3 counterparts. In Zolder, there's certain parts of the circuit which are pretty technical and pretty tough, and a lot of parts of the circuit where there is absolutely no room for error. As you can see, this is very much an old school natured circuit. Now, if hopefully we won't see what we witnessed 2 weeks ago at Motegi-san, because there was it's probably a little bit too much argy-bargy for the driver's liking, I would imagine, and a lot of drivers ending up in the fence. So hopefully we don't end up seeing that today at Zolder, because, well, as you can see from their on-track shots just now, those balls are close.
Yeah, we saw kind of a little bit of the same as well at Montreal. Quite a few incidents for the stewards to deal with. There will be a few drivers starting from the pits in race 1 and then a couple in race 2 as well. Yeah, hopefully it is nice and clear, because as you say, if you do have a crash event here, it can be a big one. Alexei Nesov then leads the way in the championship. Just trying to see if, yeah, Nesov is here tonight. I was concerned that he wasn't, but so used to seeing him at the front of the order. Currently the order is a little bit random at the minute, as the Jazz haven't yet put in a qualifying time. Mateo Fulini, his nearest challenger, and then you have quite a big gap back to Make Paluch, Danny Lee, Sven Newman, and Tom Brown. He's also tied with James Crouch, Nicholas Laubich, and then it's Brian Kroon and Matty Chambers rounding out the top 10. The amateur championship has been absolutely fascinating so far. Lots of changes. It has been Darrell Adjinson's ever since that race to Interlagos, who's really been taking the series by the neck and has pulled out a bit of a gap. Steve Burke, Mr. Consistent, has had some unluck in recent rounds, but still there in second place. Jensen Adjinson struggling a little bit. And you have Bingham, Kitzelman's had a rough few rounds, Gal Metzer, Cook, Becker, Tolman, and Gowrie rounding out those jars. And there's some competitive jars further down the order. It is a very competitive amateur championship that we have for this season. So we've got a 10-minute qualifying session going on at the moment. All the jars are out on circuit with one another. Yeah, trying to put their best lap in as possible. James Crouch currently just about at the top of the standings, but only 10 gyros setting laps so far.
Indeed, yes. The drivers do have to be quite careful here at Zolder not to break over track limits, because if you do, then your qualifying time will be null and void and you have to go around again. As you can see, that is one of the proper culprit points, is the Klein chicane that was installed in 1972 in advance of the Formula One championship coming here for the first time in 1973. And as you can see there, it can double as a little bit of a launch pad, as it looked like James Crouch's Ferrari had all 4 wheels off there.
Yeah, the off-track limits there are really lax, and you can pretty much have all 4 wheels off the track and get away with it. It's quite a satisfying chicane. I mean, the one before, because you can't even touch the curbs sometimes, or at least in some cars. But that one, you can really topple all over them. It's very different, each of the chicanes, which are located around this track, a little bit like Montreal, which of course we visited earlier on in the season. Brian Kroon has been pretty strong recently, a few top 10s so far this season. Not an improvement though on that lap for Kroon. Vanden Nesse, apologies, moves up into 7th position right there. Of course, this event is sponsored by Colbek Systems, and we give a massive thanks to Colbek for giving us the opportunity to award prize money for the first time in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. The winners of each of the 24 races, in fact the podium sitters in both the Pro and the Amateur Championships in each race of the season, all 24 races of the season, get some prize money, and there's a bit of prize money left over as well for the overall season champions and top positions in each championship. So massive thanks to Colbek. Colbek is an IT reseller with over 30 years in the business, and they work with IT managers and departments across the UK to find savings on Office 365, Altaro, Google Workspace, Acronis, ESET, lots and lots of others. So if you go to colbek.co.uk/iRacing, then you can get some good offers on everything that runs your software. And also if you go to colbek.co.uk/iRacing, you can also vote for your driver of the day. If you've got a favourite driver already, you can make that, but it's good to give it on merit to the drivers. It's been a very hotly contested award so far this season for drivers. And if you do manage to get the most votes of any other driver, you get a medal and a little bit of prize money as well. So it's certainly worth supporting your favourite driver. That's colbek.co.uk/iRacing for all of that. Here is Mr. Colbek, or Dean Powell and Daniel Lee are the two Colbek drivers, and Lee currently in 3rd position. That's not bad, but well, it's back to normal really. Alexei Nesov at the top of the standings right now. Peter, I believe this would be Nesov's 4th pole position out of 5. I'm not 100% sure about that. It may have actually been Laubish who got the pole at Phillip Island. I can't quite recall, but certainly on the front row at every round, apart from that one race where he had to start on the pits.
Yeah, he has been mighty impressive. He has really been the standout driver of the field here in the Apex Racing League GT Championship for 2021. But it's nice to see. I was just looking at the manufacturers on the timing tower right now. We've got Alexei Nesov in a Porsche and Palic in a Corvette. There you go. There you go. Our SDK Gaming graphics showing all the lovely brands. So if you're a fan of Porsche, Corvette, Ferrari, even BMW, we've got some BMWs in here as well, and some very different, very different cars. You know, they all go about it in a very different way. The Porsche is a naturally aspirated car, 4-litre engine with the engine just forward from the rear. It's sort of mid to rear engined, that particular car. Big rear diffuser for lots of aerodynamic grip. We've got the BMW, which is a golfer's car. And I say that as a golfer. It is a proper golfer's car, that one. But big, socking great twin turbocharged V8 in the front of the car. Obviously quite a different body shape as well. We have the exotic Ferrari mid-engined twin turbo as well. And my favourite, I'm not even going to pretend to be unbiased. My favourite, the Corvette C8R 5.5 litre flat crank V8, and a reigning IMSA champion. And of course, winner of this year's Rolex 24 at Daytona.
Yeah, still, it still gets my attention. I love that core livery as well that we're seeing on Make Palic's car. They've done a fantastic job with that one. Pretty simple, but effective. Oh, that's not effective today. That's going to break the floor. And that's oh, could Palic? No, I think the timer expires after 10 minutes. You can't complete the lap that you start, so yeah, no chance there. And the drivers, you're going to have to start that very soon if you're going to be able to complete another one. Otherwise, you will just be completing this one, and that will be it. Sven Newman trying to join his teammate Palic up there. Look at Crouch, who was pole sitter at Montreal, remember. Been a bit up and down so far this season as James Crouch, but he's up there at the moment as Laubish now moves to the lead. Now Nesov is on a lap at the moment, but he's going to have to pull out all the stops here in order to take pole position. That is a mighty lap from his teammate. It is a Urana Esports 1-2 at the moment.
Well, that's a great lap there from Nicolas Laubish. Let's go and see what let's go and see what Nesov is up to. He's just going round Terlemenbacht at the moment. Now, is he looking at his sectors? Is he? I don't think he's going to do this, Sam. There's no purple sectors so far. So looks like Alexei Nesov is going to have pole position snatched. However, he will have a little bit of an ally for a change at the front of the field, because we've seen actually Nicolas Laubish actually trip up a couple of times in qualifying and actually end up having to start from the back for a couple of rounds of late, and he's had to really charge his way through the pack, which here at Zolder he'll be glad he doesn't have to do now.
Yeah, this has been a frustrating season for Laubish. Even Phillip Island, when he was leading in both races, Nesov managed to get past him, and you haven't seen nearly the best of Nicolas Laubish so far this season. So yeah, the fact that he's up on pole position, perhaps this could be finally his first race win of the season. His teammate Alexei Nesov starts alongside championship leader. Then it's James Crouch, Make Palic, Danny Lee, Sven Newman, and Matteo Pulini. Remember, Pulini second place in the championship. Kevin Kittelman with an astonishing qualifying. What a qualifying for Kevin. I mean, he's not usually a very good qualifier, honestly. That's come out of nowhere, really. Great lap. Ronald Grossman and Dominic Engel round out the top 10. Then it's Drew Becker, who had a very good Motegi round. Watch out for Becker, some rich vein of form he's in. Tom Bjorn starts in 12th place. Then it says Darrett Adjensons and Jensen Adjensons, the brothers next to one another. Behind that it is Matthias Beer, Chris van der Nesse, Brian Kroon, Dory Rakuti, Dean Powell, Tom Collins, Chris Prescott, Brent Cook, Marco Tolman, Derek Holland, Dave Chadwick, David Gowrie, Matty Chambers, Steve Burke, Tom Bingham, Anton Galmetzer, Daniel Sykes, and Stephen Broomfield. A few of the drivers starting from the pits. I think Bingham, Galmetzer, and Broomfield all starting from the pits. In tonight's race, we have got a full formation lap, I believe, around the circuit. Yes. Oh, this is going to take a while, isn't it? Still, it's a nice second. We're going to have this as well for race 2, of course. 25 minutes this race 1, no pit stops, and no pit stops either in race 2. However, tonight, Peter, it is the exact same reverse grid, and I'm not saying that just because I forgot to do the reverse grid. I did genuinely go on random.org and get a random number, and it was 17 again, just as we had last time out at Motegi. It's going to be another reverse grid of 17, and I think one of the more unpredictable race 2s this season, they've kind of been two different ones so far this season. You've had like Phillip Island and Motegi, where the front guys from race 1 easily got to the front in race 2. I mean, like, got to the front in like 5 minutes. And then we've had other ones at Interlagos and Montreal, where actually the drivers who start from the front of race 2 have been able to hang on. I imagine this one will probably be the latter, because it's that much more difficult to overtake.
That it is, yeah. It is very, very tough to overtake here at Zolder. You've more, on the flip side though, it is such a challenging circuit that running mistake-free is mighty difficult, especially with particularly the Klein chicane. You wouldn't really normally expect the chicane to cause so much of an issue, but it is properly difficult to get it absolutely spot on. So it's going to be a fascinating evening and see who handles it best. And as we see often in championships where there is a reverse grid, it's often not the race 1 where the fast drivers start at the front and often stay there. Often the championship is won and lost in what happens in the reverse grid races, and there's a lot of fast drivers who get themselves caught up in too many incidents in the reverse grid race, and that costs them the championship. So hopefully that won't be the case today. Hopefully we'll get a clear run of things, but we've got to watch for that in the reverse grid race too. Now, looking at your favourite pace car here, Sam, the Ford Mustang pace car, I saw it on the release notes for next week's new season build. There's a new pace car coming in, a generic pace car, which I have to say I wasn't really keen on, as Alexei Nezov drives into the back of it. Yeah,
it's a sedan, the new pace car. I think iRacing are still a bit annoyed that we're using the Mustang, to be honest. I think that is very much targeted to us. They're trying to tempt us to move away from the Mustang, but we're not going to conform. You know,
I'd prefer the Porsche. It must be said, I would prefer the Porsche.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But I like the Mustang. Why they changed it? The reason for this, and we're moments away from the green flag. Maybe there's more important things, but I need to say this to everyone. But they changed the default pace car for no reason. No reason to change it to the Porsche. The Mustang does a fine job. The driver there needs a job.
It's slow enough anyway.
Yeah, that's going full speed. So yeah. Anyway, here we go. Nicholas Dalbish pulls away from the rest of the order. We are underway for 25 minutes of action here in Meeting 5 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek. There's already a move here for Nick Palish to get past James Crouch. Oh, skipping off the track was Daniel Lee. Well, it's a huge gravel trap there, but he's lost a lot of time. Matthias Beer as well. The German Austin Powers going off the circuit as well. That is not very good for him, as the drivers will be coming out of the pits as well, and we'll have to make sure that they don't hit those other drivers. Not too many places gained for too many drivers. I mean, Tom Collins is up 4 places so far, up to 16th, and Brian Kroon on the drivers who was a little bit further down the order. Considering he's a pro driver, he has had problems, and side-by-side Chris van der Nesse being done there by Darrett Adjensons. So poor start actually for Darrett Adjensons, but he's been able to fend off van der Nesse right there into the first chicane.
That was a good move there into the Klein chicane. It's pretty narrow and very opportunistic there from Dara Adrianson. Oh, Lloyd Grossman, no. Oh, dear me. Oh, that's that car. Well, looks like it's still in fairly good condition. Not past its sell-by just yet.
Yeah, the rest of this race could be quite spicy for him if he can make some moves. For Kuti, oh, it wasn't a good qualifying for a Kuti. You should really be up in the top 10. A good driver is Dory, and that is a shame for him to drop quite that many positions. So plenty of casualties on this first lap, albeit I think everyone is damage-free. I don't think anyone actually hit the wall. And here was us saying that, oh, the walls are very close around here, you better not make a mistake. But that's very wide there for Nesov getting onto the curb. That could have almost been a spin for him had he dipped a wheel onto the grass. But currently leader of the outer draft still Kevin Kitzelman up there in 7th place. Kitzelman with a 1 place gained. And this is some pretty excellent pace. It's a shame that we haven't visited this season earlier on, because Kitzelman always top driver in the amateur category. Finished in the top 3 in the amateur category a couple of seasons in the past. Jensen's Adrianson has made a mistake here. Oh wow, has he hit the wall? He has hit the wall. He's damaged his rear wing there, and this could be, well, very big for the one of the championship rivals in that amateur championship. He's really let his brother and his other amateur rivals get away.
Yes, he has. Look, it's completely, almost as if he had to take evasive action there on the brakes, that he was going to run into the back of the car in front, and a bit of rear wing damage. That is going to be really, really difficult to manage over the rest of this 25-minute race, and 22 minutes left to go. So a great start there for Jensen Adrianson, and a disastrous start for the Colbek guys, Danny Lee and Dean Powell. But given that they've got the best sponsor in the field, I'm sure they'll carve back through the pack with ease. I'm sure, as Jensen Adrianson throws in the towel and goes into pit lane.
Yeah, we'll pick up the faster pair. But that's, I was going to say, oh, you can still get a reverse grid pole here, but probably not. He needs a lot of stuff to happen in front of him for that to be the case. With Kuti just getting past Chadwick there, I think, and of course Beer, who spun off. Beer's doing really well. How on earth is Mateus Beer still there? Well, there was I guess the drivers behind, some of them started from the pit, some of them had issues. But actually, you know, Beer and Lee, after losing heaps of time to start off with, I mean, they are 20 seconds off the lead. And not far away from the reverse good places as Beer. Oh, that was a clumsy from him. He's going to lose a position here to Danny Lee. Might even lose a place to Dean Powell as well. I'm sure Dean won't take offence to this, but it is nice to see Dean not start from the pits for once, because he got a few penalties earlier on the season. He's really struggled to get them cleared and be able to start race ones without a pit lane start. But he didn't this time. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good start for him regardless. He is in 23rd place, but Dean, very good job. Of course, last season's amateur championship winner. A superbly quick driver. Certainly, I expect to see him in the top 10 later on in the season. As Lee moves past Chadwick, he's up into the top 20.
There he goes, yep, back on the move again. Now, of course, Matthias Beer, he's always very easy to spot out on track in his, in this case, it's a Ferrari that he's chosen. Normally a BMW guy, actually, is Matthias. And as we know him as the German Austin Powers because of his very shagadelic paint schemes. Now, have you seen his car in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy, Sam?
Oh, I don't think I have.
It's very much along the same lines as all of Matthias's cars. Very, very jazzy. Looks like the inside of Austin Powers' apartment. As Nezov goes past Laubish. Ooh, dear. Well, I tell you what, I thought Laubish was clearing away, but no. Nezov goes by, and what can Laubish do? Will he fight back hard? They've got Palach close by in the Corvette there, so they'll need to be careful. But yeah, just coming back to Matthias's BMW, it's he's got a number plate on the back of it which says Shagur on it.
Hey, oh no. Well, we'll get back to the race in a moment, but when we had that first chat with him after Montreal a couple of seasons ago in the GT4 series, was it deliberately Austin Powers, or has he embraced the Austin Powers since we pointed it out?
Well, he's very much embraced it, yes, because we asked him we asked him about the paint scheme, and because it was on a M4 BMW GT4. And he says, yeah, we wanted to make a kind of BMW art car. So we feel like it's like you're the German Austin Powers, and he loved it, and he's embraced that, and hence has that number plate on the back of his BMW. So you can see that Tuesday nights on Apex Racing League TV. Look out for and look out, Chris Van Den Ness is in the wall.
Yeah, that's not an advertisement. I don't know what it is. Van Den Ness drops outside the reverse grid places. Oh, this is going to be tight as well. Over the curbs, and almost has another spin, and Daniel Lee will scoot past him. How Van Den Ness? I think Van Den Ness just ran wide, but he was very close to the barriers when we saw him. Also, Thomas had a crash. Oh, hold on, mate. And then, yep, reverse, and then get back underway. Dash or wing, but it's all right. Yep, back underway against Marco Tolman. But yeah, I wonder if we could get a replay actually of what happened to Van Den Ness there, because he was in like 13th place, but yeah, far away from that now. Yeah, he was comfortably in that position, wasn't he? Really under no pressure, and then looks onto the gravel perhaps. Yeah, but I mean, lots of other drivers do that on the brakes, and then yeah, just sees all those other guys quickly make their way past.
Oh, and all you want to do is get back going again, but you've got to just take that deep breath and keep going. And it looked like he's not taking any damage, although, well, that big hop over the curb, where it was proper British Touring Car Championship style over that curb there, but hopefully able to carry on without too much of a problem. So what does that mean? Well, Kevin Kittleman's still leading the AM category in 7th place, with Drew Becker next along in class in 10th. Now, notice that some of the Indy Autosport guys have got a new paint scheme, this lovely red and black colour, which looks absolutely superb. It kind of reminds me of the Mazda factory colours. That sort of, I think they call it Soul Red, I think is what they call it.
I was too lazy to download the paint, so I don't know. But they've had a sponsor change. Yeah, they've had a sponsor change, so yeah, I did see them upload some new paints, and I'm now seeing them on the broadcast, and they do look very cool. But, honestly, I think Indy Autosport, I mean, if you want some nice liveries, I mean, go contact those guys, because I don't think they do proper, like, I think they sell liveries to other people, but every generation of liveries that Indy Autosport have done have been superb. When they started out, there was a very kind of simple, just white car with a red stripe, and that was our favourite livery back then. And every season they've been able to improve on it, and yeah, they continue to do that. So awesome work from those guys. Whoever their painter is very artistic. Yes, Drew Becker doing really well as well in 10th place. I mean, they're not slow as either of those drivers. They had a very good Motegi route last time out a couple of weeks ago. As Brian Cooney's had a couple of off so far as Cooney lost a couple of places a few laps ago. He's in 15th, he's ahead of Derek Holland, and crucially Daniel Lee now is in reverse grid pole, and we saw Lee, or Rakuti for that matter, on reverse grid pole. Well, I think you could even say they'd be the favourite for the race win. These are two exceptionally quick drivers, and especially with, as Beard goes sliding along.
Ouch.
Oh, he's got
very
out of the way,
ouch.
there. But that was with Dean Powell right there.
Oh dear, that might be another penalty, who knows. That was another Austin Powers one. Ouch, baby. Very ouch. And this looks like it might be coming into Gilles Villeneuve. Oh, locks up the brakes, bang. Dear me, that was a violent one. Sheesh. And Matthias does a very stylish way to get out of the circuit there. And, well, he's been in the wars in that Ferrari, has Matthias. But Dean Powell, well, his Porsche maybe got a little bit of damage from that hit as well. We'll see how his lap times progress as we approach half race distance.
Seems like Matthias has towed back to the pits, which is a shame. I just hope that he can finish the race, because as long as you finish either 1, or 0, 1, or 2 laps down, you score points. If you finish further down than that, then you don't. And I mean, even if you finish in, say, 32nd position, which is last place at the moment, even then that's like 19 points. So it's certainly worth going back out there and picking up as many points as you possibly can. Although, yeah, Matthias, pro driver, not worried too much about the championship, but still, we'll be looking to maybe get a top 10 in by the season end. Make Palich then with a bit of damage. Any ideas where he could have got that from, you think, Peter?
Maybe at the start, possibly, because it was getting really busy at the beginning of the race, and Mike Palich hasn't really been able to hold a candle to the two Urano Esports Porsches, so that's my only guess really of where that damage could have come from, because it's relatively significant. It doesn't look like it's like a curb, you know, bodywork bent going over a curb or anything. I think it has been contact with another car, but it doesn't seem to be holding him back too much. He's got more looking behind rather than forward right now. He's got James Crouch right behind, and his teammate Sven Newman also in a Corsom Racing Corvette in 5th spot right now as they come into the Villeneuve chicane, which is a proper roller coaster of a thing, isn't it? You can see the amount of bumps, and you need a car that's well set up through there.
Yeah, and in these cars as well, so much downforce, so they can actually go flat out through the right-hander as well, which is pretty mad. Not close enough for the overtake into the hairpin. And then the overtake into the partner chicane as well, very tricky. Single file for most of these corners. As the two leads are very close. Oh, that's Crouch slipping and sliding there, locking up the brakes. Newman will be pretty close behind, but Newman's not close enough to go for a move right there. So yeah, the two leaders, nose to tail. Slavish all over the back of Nesov, and well, you know, we're unbiased in the commentary box, Peter, but we want to see a good race. We want to see a good championship. I just feel bad for Nicholas, because if he can't win this race as well, once again in the lead, once again ahead of his teammate, this would be the 4th time this season, along with the 2 races at Phillip Island and of course race 2 at Motegi, where he's given up the lead to his teammate. And you look at this, you think Laubich is the faster driver, wouldn't you? It's very odd, the fact that Nesov has been able to win so many of these races, whilst Laubich is so far winless this season.
It is a shame, yes, absolutely, I agree. I mean, Alexei Nesov has deserved all of his wins. He's been mighty, mighty impressive, and very, very few mistakes went out front. But I suspect that maybe Laubich is just biding his time here. If he is a little bit quicker than Nesov, then he can sit there quite comfortably, and, you know, there's still plenty of time to go, and I think he maybe wants to just get a little bit more space in hand between them and the cars behind, because then once there is a little bit of space, then Laubich might be able to take on a little bit more outlandish moves. Of course, there's always the concern that with teammates, and it actually seems almost more prevalent in sim racing than in real world racing, where a teammate will not overtake another when they're out in the lead. It might just be that they hold station and drive home from here, but it does of course vary from team to team and driver to driver. Let's hope that that's not the case here, and we'll see a bit of fighting.
Yeah, I wonder exactly why that is. I mean, these guys will probably be in the same Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever application they use. So you can't really imagine. Oh, Crouch has had enough. Crouch is off the circuit. Where is he? Oh, he's stuck. He's back going again. Well, he was just hesitating there, letting Bulini past. He'll still be ahead of Kitzelman and the queue of cars behind Kitzelman. Yeah, I can't imagine. So Crouch is still a little bit all over the place right there. I'm trying to think of some team orders in the past. Oh, Multi-21, there you go. I can't imagine Vettel overtaking Webber if they could like chat to one another in their cars. I guess it's that instant dealing with of his teammates.
I can imagine there's always debate every week in Autosport magazine or every month in whatever publication you read, or often on internet forums, etc. How do we make Formula 1 more interesting? Put all of the drivers on Discord together, where they can all talk to one another during the race and broadcast it. Can you imagine that? In the days of Vettel and Webber, when they were teammates with one another, if they could communicate, can you imagine the language? It would be. I tell you, I'd tune in to watch that.
I think that'd be remarkable. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It'd be cool. It'd be very cool on that one. And of course, then you wouldn't have the silly the teams hiding secrets and hiding strategies, because that'd be public to everyone. So yeah, that'd be cool. Dominic Engel is under pressure right now from Tom Brown. The problem for Engel is that he's not been able to get past Kevin Kisman so far. Kisman seemingly is the slowest of these drivers, but it's tricky to overtake around this circuit. I wonder if we could actually get a replay of actually what happened to James Crouch as well. I don't think we got a replay of that one, because I'm just wondering if Crouch has got a bit of damage. It seemed like his car has got a bit of damage. Unfortunately, I can't see this one, but can you, Peter?
I can indeed, yes. They're coming into Clyde chicane, and James Crouch loses it very, very early. It looked like he just missed his braking point. Maybe locked up the tyre slightly, trying to throw it down the gears, maybe a little bit too quickly in the rear, just snapped around on him. Of course, the Ferrari is a mid-engine car, so it will be quite twitchy, but it looked like, we're just hearing that he actually clipped the grass on the entry, and that's what sent him around, Sam.
Yeah, I'm just watching it back on the YouTube stream now, and yeah, that does seem to be the case. Great driving as well from Crouch not to pull away straight away. I mean, no, maybe it's a bit common sense, but my God, we see a lot of drivers. I do stewarding for certainly one other series, which I'm sure Peter will know which one I'm talking about. And in that one, rejoins? What rejoins? You know, safely rejoining. No, I'll rejoin into the pack, thanks. So nice job there from James to think. Which is yeah, far superior to many of his rivals.
Well, while you're on the subject, I have a bone to pick with Kevin Kittelman, Esquire, who's in 7th place right now, because I was minding my own business at the back of this particular race that was broadcast here on Apex Racing TV, I won't say which, and two drivers spun in front of me, but more than enough where there was a gap. More than enough of a gap for me to go through. I went to go through the gap on the racing line, in fact, and the driver decided just to drive straight in front of me and smack. And then Kevin Kittelman decided to be a YouTube troll and say, "Oh, what were you doing there, Peter?" And nothing really I could have done, in my defence.
I know we shouldn't say these things on stream, but no, Kevin is a horrible person. I mean, he is like. You know, like, you know, there's a lot of nuance in the world. You know, I'm not a big fan of labels, but he is a horrible person, and that's just a fact. So I wouldn't take too much notice of it. And he's decently fast though, but yeah, what can I say? He's an immoral person, corrupt. But he's running in 7th place at the moment, and well, looking like he's going to get a little bit of that Colbek Systems prize money. He will get £8 if he wins this race. £6, apologies, if he wins this race, compared to the 4 for Becker and the 2 for Adjinsons. Nessel will be getting £12 at the moment, 8 for Laubich and 4 for Hanch at the moment. That big thanks to Colbek, of course. And do check out colbek.co.uk/iRacing to get discounts on software, on everything that runs your business IT. So yeah, certainly do visit that. And of course, that is also where you can vote for your driver of the day. That vote is open, so you can hop over there. I think it's open at least. You can hop over there and vote for your favourite driver. Probably wait till the 2 races are up, because they might embarrass themselves. Yeah, don't vote for Kevin Kisman, pretty much, as we've established. Dave Chadwick has, well, he's had a tough race so far as Dave Chadwick, but he's got Steve Burke now behind him. I think Colbek started from the pits in this race. It has taken these drivers who started from the pits, Galmetzer as well, thrown in there, to catch up. It's taken them a while to catch up to these other drivers, but Chadwick has been caught, and he's got 4 minutes to fend from these drivers.
Just looking at reverse grid pole now, Ronald Grossman now in reverse grid pole. Daniel Lee has moved up to 14th, so he will start from the second row of the grid at the moment as it stands in the feature race. But Ronald Grossman, of course, had a big spin off early on, so has recovered well to get that reverse grid spot, and he will be well, very tough to beat in race 2, I would wager. Now, back to the Irano Esports Porsches, who are in absolute flying formation right now, just a singing symphony of these 4-litre flat 6 boxer engines, over 500 horsepower in these machines. No anti-lock braking system, but very, very good aerodynamics and traction control systems as well, which you can actually adjust on the fly, which is very, very cool. And I actually find that this Porsche, when you're doing endurance races, the information you get on the dashboard of this car is so, so helpful. The best in its class, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. It's absolutely packed full of stuff, pretty easy in navigation as well. So yeah, the Porsche is at the moment the go-to car. It should be strong around this circuit. Usually strong round. Well, I'd say it should be strong around this circuit. I mean, apparently its strength is the corners, particularly kind of high speed and medium speed corners. Its weakness is bumps, as Enkel's had an issue. Always going to lose any more places. Oh, slow down as well for Darrell Adjinsons. And here comes Becker. Might be up a couple of places very quickly here. Could Jude Becker? Oh, not quite. Let's see. Had to wait for that one. Yes, yeah, the Porsche is the go-to car. It's not very good over bumps, so it shouldn't really be very good around the circuit where you've got a lot of curves. But yet, there has been some strong performances so far from the 911 drivers, as Enkel is not quite getting past. I don't know. Drew Becker isn't getting past Dominic Enkel. Hang on, Enkel was way further up, wasn't he? No, it's just Enkel and Palicic literally got the identical damage. I didn't realise.
It nearly threw me as well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, and Ronald Grossman has. Oh no, he's thrown away. Oh, he's thrown away reverse grid pole. Oh, a spoilage bill for that Corsim racing team. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a. If he's got a swear jar, he'll be putting some money in it. That's kind of a joke. I don't know if he got that
quite
one.
Good one actually. No, that was quite good actually. It was very good. Yeah.
I'll try to.
We are scraping the bottom of the pot though, to be fair.
Oh, yep. Nice one. Making a meal of this. There you go.
Oh, speaking of the food and beverage, I did look up. Tom Collins is a cocktail. So how cool is that, being named after a cocktail, which maybe says something about Mr. Collins' parents?
Yeah. We'll reserve our judgment on that one. Tom did say after Montreal that he knew that, so clearly it's been brought up to him in the past. I hope he's proud of it, not humiliated.
Must be cool. Must be cool to walk into a bar going, oh, imagine if he's on a date and he can just go, I'll have a Tom Collins.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
He's a cool. Well, we'll have to see what his lifestyle's like. How much he's used that as Ben Cook, or this could be for a reverse grip pole here. He's in fact his 16th now as Cook. But that's all right for him. It's not too bad. Prescott moves up into 15th. It's currently Chris Vandenesse on reverse grid pole. Vandenesse with a comfortable gap to Derek Holland at the moment, so that one should be alright. Laubish had a little bit of an off earlier on in this lap. Just went red, his position box, and that's kind of lets off the pressure for Alexei Nesov. Of course, won 2 races back at Phillip Island. He won 1 race at Interlagos, and he won 2 races at Motegi. So this would be his 6th race win of the season out of 9 events, which is crazy, especially seeing that's our one. Then he's up on the pits. Here comes Alexei Nesov, then the Russian driver rounds the final corner at Zolder, and he takes another race win in the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek, and extends his championship advantage. Laubish finishes in second place. Paluch with a good third place, really establishing him as a championship contender. Kevin Kittelman, what a superb drive. I swear probably the best I've ever seen Kevin drive, to finish in 7th position. Comfortable over Tom Brown in the end, as the drivers behind battled hard for those places in the top 10. Reverse grid pole, it looks like it is going to go to Chris van der Nesse. The big battle right now is going on between Holland and Dean Powell. Ooh, that's wide for Holland. Can Powell take a recent action? No, and Beer. Oh, good driving, guys. Try to get it stopped, to be fair. Those guys will finish just behind Grossman's not being able to catch up, as Holland losing so many places. He wasn't going to get reverse good pole anyway, but he's going to start in 25th place rather than 18th after that late incident.
Oh, what a poor old Matthias Beer. He got to get involved in lots of different incidents there. Hopefully it'll go a bit better for him in race 2. As we see James Crouch coming around. So James, is that, yes, it's James Crouch. Has he gone over the checkered flag, or is he just going on a bit of a parade lap?
He's just doing a bit of a parade lap. Nice to see.
Good.
In it's manners, you know. In ARLTC, no one does that. And I think in ARA Porsche, I think you've been keeping that up, to be honest, Peter. It doesn't look very professional on the broadcast, does it? When we
I must be honest. I do apologise. I'd never considered the thought of that. I shall do a long and protracted. I'll just drive round at my normal pace, and it will look like a parade lap.
Yes, yeah, Alexei Nestor wins out by 1.2 seconds over Nicholas Laubic. It's the Urana Esports 1-2 for the 4th time this season. 3rd time this season. Of course, Fulini got into second in race 1 at Phillip Island. Mick Paluch beats his teammate Sven Newman, but course sim race really have improved so far this season, in 3rd and 4th now in that race. Matteo Fulini, quite one for him, that's a solid 5th place, only 10 seconds off the lead as well. Had good pace, did Matteo. Then it was James Crouch after his spin. Kevin Kittelman gets that £6 by winning the amateur category. There was Tom Brown, Dominic Engel, Andrew Becker rounding out the top 10. And that was Tom Collins, Dara Adjinsons, Danny Lee, Brian Kroon, Chris Prescott, Brent Cook, Chris van der Nesse gets reverse good pole. Well done to him. There was Ronald Grossman, David Gary, Steve Burke, Matty Chambers, Anton Galmetzer, Joy Rakuti, after many problems for Rakuti there. Derek Holland was in 24th, there was Dave Chadwick, Jensen Adjinsons with a real bad race for his championship hopes. Marco Torment, Stephen Broomfield, Tom Bingham, Dean Powell, and Matthias Beer round out the finishers. Daniel Sykes, unfortunately, was 11 laps down, so he does not score any points for this race 1. We got about a 5-minute break period now. Quick word for one of our sponsors, SDK Gaming, who provide our glorious overlay, which you can see on screen. It usually has the timing tower, of course, and the battle box and the track map. Lots of different features, all accessible with a subscription to SDK Gaming. And it's brilliant for broadcasting, of course, streaming, and as a heads-up display. So much customization with it, not just, you know, using colors and stuff, but literally the entire format you can change if you want. That's a great thing with SDK Gaming. Just learn a little bit of CSS, and yeah, you are underway. So do check out sdkgaming.com in order to get a 14-day free trial. We've got 2 more minutes to go in this one. The driver who stands out to me as perhaps a favourite for this race. I mean, I think Nestor's got to be the favourite in any race, to be fair. He has won 2 race 2s so far this season, Peter. But Daniel Lee, he starts, I think, this race 2 in 4th position. If he can get to the front quickly, which is a lot easier said than done, surely he's got a fantastic chance, because if there's no collision, it will surely take Nestor at least 10 minutes to get by those guys. And you know, Daniel's pretty good at defense. Even if Nesov was able to catch up by the end, then Daniel would have a good chance at fending him off. So we could finally see a Colbek car at the top of the standings this season.
Well, this is certainly one of the best prospects for it, I would say, absolutely. I think one thing that the drivers will have to be super careful of here is the rolling start. It's you know, it's obviously quite narrow along the pit lane, as the pit straight, I should say, and then it's quite a fast turn one as well, and you're all kind of bundling in together. And in the reverse grid races, you've got drivers who are pushed a little bit further up the order than they maybe perhaps would be in race one. So I think the only thing for Nezov is he's going to have eyes on the back of his head to make sure that he gets that car clean through the first lap or two. And then the field, once it inevitably spreads out a little bit, then he could just hit the afterburners and move up to the front. And you know, maybe this race here, Sam, we might see Laubish get his chance as well. Laubish was every bit the match for his teammate on pace, and of course out-qualified him. So Laubish has got an opportunity as well to cut through the pack. So we're in for a cracker here. But Danny Lee certainly got the best prospect for a Colbek attempt at the win this race.
Yeah, I think so. I think Max Chambers might be starting pretty far up the front as well, not quite sure, but yeah, he could be dangerous as well. The Joe who we're currently watching up on screen as, well, he won't be having much of a chance if he keeps driving like that. Already got a bit of damage as well in this warm-up session. Oh, that's a car coming out of absolutely nowhere, didn't expect that. So yeah, the drivers are about to start to grid out. A couple of drivers who will have to start from the pits for this second race, but certainly far less than we had in race one. Hopefully you're enjoying the action on Apex Racing TV. Anyone who's sending abuse on the chat, don't appreciate it, to be honest, guys. You know, keep your fingers closed if you're going to be like that. My goodness me, why on earth is it at night? Well, okay, this will be quite interesting. Yes, I'm not quite sure about this one. It is, well, it's 8 o'clock in the evening, apparently. This was not planned.
Well, this is British Touring Car Championship. Remember when they used to have the actually, do you know, I keep having to stop myself, Sam, because I'm going to say remember that, and you're going to go, no, I wasn't even born then. But anyway, when you were a lad in your good county of Norfolk, there used to be night races in the British Touring Car Championship at Snetterton.
Yeah, and there's no lights in all of Norfolk. I mean, we haven't developed the technology yet, so that would have been pretty tricky to get around the circuit. So. Nice job from those guys. Apologies to, you know, everyone for this. I mean, the people watching on the broadcast in particular, because, you know, you can't see the cars anymore. I hate night racing. We'll see what happens though in this one.
I love it. I think this is going to spice it up completely. The drivers won't be practiced for it. Of course, in sim racing at this level, you often see a lot of drivers who will just batter out so many hours during the week to be able to compete at this level. But this throws a real spanner in the works. Of course, Zolder is used in the real world and in the sim for 24-hour races. The Belcar 24-hour is here at Zolder as well. So it is a circuit that's used to night driving, and I think this is going to be fantastic, actually. I'll be honest. Really shakes the order up, and we're going to see who can adapt now, Sam. So yeah, I think that this is brilliant.
Well, I wouldn't want to be the leader on the first lap, because
I'd rather be the leader than in the mid pack.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, turn up your gamma, guys, because yeah, you want to know where you're going. But yeah, this will be very interesting. Not sure that I don't think there's any floodlights around this circuit, albeit you can see the headlights are certainly enough illumination for these drivers at the moment as they head down into the chicane. So of course, yeah, Van der Nesse starting from the front then for this one. Cook, Prescott, Kuhn and Lee rounding out the top 5 for this race. Laubish and Nessov starting down in 16th and 17th position, trying to make it yet another Urane Esports 1-2 finish if they possibly can. Could be a little bit cooler temperatures as well. I mean, you were saying before, Peter, how, you know, this is very different to what the drivers are used to, but 18 degrees track temperature. They're gonna be prepared for you know, 4 in the afternoon. Obviously, in sim, it's only March. March the 7th, so it was never going to be that warm, but a bit more grip for these drivers, and yeah, maybe their setup's not quite perfect, but yeah, I know, I don't think it should make too much of a difference on that front.
I think it's going to be perfect for the drivers for tyre conservation or lack of. They don't need to worry about it. They can just push straight away. And it's also going to be about who knows the circuit best as well. That muscle memory is really important when driving in the dark. If you've done lots and lots and lots of laps, you've got that real almost instinctive feel around the circuit. You know your braking point, you know your turning, but this is fascinating. We're going to be going into a bit of the unknown here. Van den Esse going to lead us away for the rolling start.
Yep, here we go then. So Chris Van den Esse puts his foot down, and we are away racing for 40 minutes of action then here at Zolder for race 2 of the evening. It's really anyone's game right behind Van den Esse, but he storms off into the distance. Cook in second position, Prescott holding on to third ahead of Brown. Good start for Dan Adjinsons to gain a place. Also good start for James Crouch, a couple of places gained. He is already up into 10th place, but the drivers getting into single file, at least at the front. It's a bit more chaotic with the core and the Urano drivers going alongside the turns 2 and 3 in the early stages. Nestov making a couple of big moves in the early stages as they're really battling one another down into the chicane. Gorgo single file eventually they hear. This is on board with Tom Collins down into the chicane, where he buys his time there. Stays behind Daniel Lee. Actually a poor start for Lee, who's dropped down one place as spinning off is Burke, was it Burke? Yeah, and Holland as well, both having problems. Also Palach as well, very poor start for Meg Palach, who finished on the podium in race 1.
Yeah, tell you what, not easy at all for these drivers. I tell you, it was a great onboard there with Tom Collins, where you just saw just how difficult it is, how narrow it is, and how fast it feels. Of course, in the dark, it does always feel that little bit quicker as well. Everything seems to be going that little bit faster. But Alexei Nezov doing exactly what he needs to do. In 13th position, he's moved up 4 spots already, keeping the car clean. Now, Nicholas Laubich, interestingly, had got up to 15th, but then dropped back again. And whoa, we've got a spinner going off there as well. Now, who was that? That is Kevin Kittelman. Oh, dear.
I've also got Chris Prescott having a problem. I don't know how Prescott got onto that bit of tarmac, but after doing very well, Prescott in the early stages to hold on to as many places as he did. He's now going alongside with Daniel Lee, last season's runner-up. And Lee does move ahead. Ooh, I think that was going to be some more contact. There's certainly been contact there. Galmetz off the track. And now having to slowly get back onto the circuit. He'll be just ahead of Steve Burke. Collins as well, dropping down some places, and that is James Crouch off the circuit. Well, Crouch was making some very good progress, and I think had a chance at the race win, certainly a podium. I would have put money on him getting, but he has spun round right there. That is a big change to this race. Yeah, hitting the wall as well could have some lasting damage on that.
Yeah, it will do. It not been a good. Well, it started off so strong for James Crouch, but not able to really kind of convert it into 2 solid finishes. Of course, it's not easy here at Zolder, but Alexei Nezov making good moves through the field up to 11th, just picking cars off one by one where there's opportunity. So really just taking his time. Of course, Alexei is a real-world sports car racing driver, so in effect a pro racing driver in the real world, and of course it does so in the sports car and endurance racing world. So racing in the dark will not be unfamiliar to Alexei Nezov. So that will... Oh, it's Laubich. I tell you what, if Laubich didn't run into the car in front there, he's done very well. Just as their camera cut away, it looked like Laubich had rear-ended what would be Tom Brown's Ferrari, but if he didn't, it was close.
Yes, some close shaves so far in this race. Laubich had a problem through the Villeneuve chicane, I think, earlier on on that one, and that kind of compromised him a bit, hence why he's a bit further down than Nestov at the moment, after starting ahead of him. Oh, that is Brown over the curbs, and also a spin for Nestov. Wow. Well, just as we saw at Interlagos, very reminiscent. A mistake. Oh, well, he's broken the engine. Well, has he launched himself over the curbs? I can only imagine. Or is it on a downshift? But, well, Nestov will be able to finish this race. He'll be able to pick up a faster pace, even if he does have to tow. But, well, what happened here? Has he gone into the... I think it's just... Oh, yeah, he has taken... way too much curb and blown the engine just like that.
Oh wow, that is a bizarre incident. Of course, he did hit the curb hard, and it pogoed the car in the air. It was like it was going off a skateboard kicker, and you can see the plumes of smoke. Look at that, Derek Holland can't see where he's going, and Alexei Nezov. God, we're racing in the dark. Nezov's blown his engine. I tell you what, you don't blow a Porsche engine in a hurry as well. 4-litre flat six, built like a tank, and well, it's done. Wow. Sam, this is what it's all about. This is entertainment. This is what I tell you what, you are getting slated in the chat, my friend, but I refer the dishonourable gentleman in the chat to the fact that this is a brilliant, entertaining spectacle.
Absolutely. Well, they are dishonourable people. So yeah, apologies for the night race, but it's been all right so far. And yes, they had headlights. This isn't a Formula 3 race, eh? Collins, so this is great news for Matteo Fulini, of course, runner-up in the championship, and after looking like he's going to lose quite a few points to Nesov in this race, he could make some points up. Not necessarily easy though. I mean, for anything like this, I think Nesov would still score more points. It's a big move from Laubish. Nice work, Collins, very early on the brakes, but Laubish sweeps his way around the outside. But yeah, Fulini's got a few cars ahead of him. He knows that he's faster than that. The only cars ahead of Fulini who he knows that he's probably slower than. I mean, Lee he's very evenly matched with. Apart from that, pretty good. Of course, he's got Laubish behind him, who was quite a bit faster than him earlier on. So yeah, this could be a podium at least for Fulini, and he could get that. And if Nesov struggled to get back into the top 15, then certainly could be a change. Is that Nesov actually coming out of the pits? No, that's Tom Bingham coming out of the pits. He's had his own issues as Darragh Adjins moves up into second position. Nice move there on Brent Cook on that occasion. Look at Brian Kroon as well, trying to go for the move down the inside. We don't see too many moves into this chicane, but that is what Kroon has done, and now very slow as Cook. Lee gets past as well. And that's kind of similar to what we saw with one of the other drivers earlier on in the race, where you go offline and all of a sudden 4 or 5 cars can quickly make their way past.
Well, the Corvette striking under the cover of darkness right now as well. Brian Kroon in third now for Indy Autosport, of course, winner at Montreal from my memory. Now, Kev Copeland is saying in the chat, I leave the room to make tea and come back and it's dark. Try putting a pound in the meter, Kev. That should do the job.
Yes. Albeit prioritise the heating on the cup of tea, of course. You don't need light, say. Daniel Lee then catching up, 26.6 on that last lap. Chris Van Den Esso, by the way, if anyone's noticed, if anyone's a fan of this race, sure everyone is, we have millions of fans. But all of them people, you'll notice that I think Van Den Esso said pretty much every reverse grid race we've had all season. He is very good, and you know, he's another sly man, and maybe deliberately dropped back in race 1 in order to get reverse grid pole. But it does seem to be a bit of a thing now. I think this is 3 consecutive race 2s where he has led at some point, but it's working well for Van Den Esso. Hasn't finished too high up in any of them so far, but it's looking good for him tonight. As Grossman gets past Newman, we've also had Laubish get past Pulina. Well, that was very quick, wasn't it? That's showing Laubish's pace, and certainly this could be his best chance at a race win, even though he started very far down. Ronald Grossman now goes off the track. He's lost a few places. He was battling with his teammates, I think, of Engel and Newman, and he's now made that mistake for course sim racing, a bit of a slowdown as well. He's down into 15th place as Lee trying to go on a move on Kroon. Oh, that was good defense though from Kroon. No way around there for Lee. Maybe that was a bit over-aggressive there from Lee, because that's a near impossible move at that chicane.
Great move there from Brian Kroon in the Corvette C8R. I tell you what, the Corvette does have the best headlights. That is for sure. It's got these it's obviously got the normal headlights, and it's got these super bright, almost like football floodlights underneath that are actually being, if you look at the brand new Golf GTI, it's got a very similar sort of almost where the fog lights would normally be. You can see that there, just below the kind of evil eyes of the Corvette. You can see these. Honestly, you could light up a football stadium with that car.
You should get the Lambo lights out.
Oh, they're good. Yeah, they're good.
the endurance lights. Yeah, that's like a blooming driving floodlight. Is that?
I love how you can change the colours on the LEDs on the top, where it automatically goes to green. But for our Commentatori Squadra Corse car, Sam, we have it on pink, don't we?
Yeah, well, as close as we can get to magenta.
Yes.
Of course. If only we could put like a hex code in, and then that would be ideal. Laubish is making superb work here. Flashes his lights unnecessarily, but there you go. And he's up into 6th place. Fulini trying to get past Prescott. Fulini, yeah, smart job there from Prescott. Just let these guys go. Or maybe we didn't want to let Drew Becker go, to be honest, because I think Prescott would have had a chance to keep Becker behind. But so Becker is up into 8th place. As Lee is ahead of Kroon. Lee is not ahead of Kroon. He's lost out to Brian Kroon, who gets the cutback, but here we go again. Oh no, don't even go there. I've had a mare tonight, honestly. don't put me further down. Kroon has been able to stay ahead then of Daniel Lee. Lee really needs to get past quick. As Darrett Adkins says, I think he's just made a mistake of these guys because he's not too far ahead. Here comes Lee again. That is very over-aggressive. But he's got it done. I think if I was Brian Kroon, I'd be a bit annoyed with that one because it's very much single file through that corner. But Lee is up into 3rd place. He's finally got it done.
Don't try and make things up for Brian Kroon to be more annoyed about than you getting his name wrong constantly, Sam.
Sorry.
I'm sure he won't mind. So this is interesting now because Danny Lee, now that he's free of Brian Kroon, he's got the opportunity to try and run down Dara Adrianson's and try and do something about Chris Van Den Esse. But Nicholas Laubish is on the way, and he's bringing the cavalry with him. He's got Fellini right in his wheel tracks as well. And Mattia Fellini, wherever Laubish has gone, Fellini has followed over the last few laps. So this is fascinating. We've got plenty of time to go, nearly half an hour of racing to go here at Zolder, and Nicholas Laubish is lapping very, very consistently, very, very quick into the 125s. He's got it plenty. He's got 124s in him easy. So this is going to go right down to the wire. Sam, you really need to deliberately put in dark races more often, I have to say.
Yeah. Well,
you did it on purpose.
I really hate dark races because I can't see any of the cars. But it's been alright. It's been alright. In fact, we are going to have an evening race at Sebring later on in the season. We're going to have a time of day acceleration. The day is going to progress twice as fast and kind of half simulate the 12 hours of Sebring. That's only in a couple of weeks' time, I think, isn't it? That round of the championship. So looking forward to that. We've got a huge train of cars right now. Behind Sven Newman, I think Newman will be pulling away, catching up to Chris Prescott because Newman is a very quick driver after all. Top quality drivers actually here, from really Collins down to Beer, all drivers who probably get podiums at one point or another in the season, all following each other right in their tracks at the moment. So the vast majority of the field very close to one another. Alexei Nessel, by the way, is about a third of a lap behind these drivers. He's half a minute behind. He'll catch up to quite a few of them. I think Nessel might still get a top 15 here, but as Kroon, oh no, well, that is a shame for Brian Kroon, who looked like he was in for some big points. Oh, be careful, it's alright. Kroon back underway, but one spin, he's down to 19.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what a pity there for Brian Kroon. It was leading Corvette, and now it's an army of Porsches at the front. I'm trying to see how far that goes. Oh my word, there you go. Well, if you're a fan of the Weissach built machines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Well, P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Quite impressive. Oh, it's Matty Chambers. Well, that's one Porsche down in the wall.
Yeah, I think Chambers made a mistake there and then has collected another driver. Yep, and that was one of the core cars. Oh, well, to both of the core cars. Wow, must have something against them.
As well.
And yeah, Mateus Beer as well. Okay, getting involved in that. Danny Lee's moved up into second position, and Chris Van Den Nesse then is going to be tried to be caught up at 25.8. Nice lap there for Van Den Nesse, his personal best lap of the race, and he did slower than Loudbeach. I mean, not many drivers have got closer than the to the Urano Esports all night long. So Van Den Nesse with excellent pace have got a while to go in this race though. 25 minutes. I think Lee will catch up. I do think Loudbeach will catch up as well. Maybe Fulini as well. But I think Nesse's best chance is if Lee, Loudbeach, and Fulini will start to battle one another. We know that Lee will go defensive against Loudbeach if Nicholas caught up. But in that situation, yeah, they might start losing each other. I think that's probably Van Den Nesse's best bet. I think whilst he is quick, he will struggle to keep ahead. So you can see that gap kind of fluctuating over the last few laps.
I tell you what, it's been a superb performance so far from Chris Van Den Nesse. He's really handled this curved ball of a dark race very, very well, and clearly shows he's got some good knowledge. You do have a lot of Dutch drivers who will travel the short distance over the border to Belgium to go racing at Zolder, so it will be almost as familiar as Spa and Zandvoort and Assen are to drivers and race fans in the general Benelux region. Have you ever been to Luxembourg before? It's actually a beautiful place. It's a nice countryside around it, and the cheapest petrol and the cheapest booze you'll ever find.
I think they have a free tram service as well. Yeah, I think it's all just paid by taxes, so you get free trams, which is nice. Apparently, it's not very feasible for other countries, but Luxembourg they pull it off because well they're very rich. But I did not expect it to be cheap with for booze, to be honest, because is it the Netherlands, which is it's Scandinavia, I think, isn't it, where it's mega expensive. But Luxembourg not so bad. Yeah, certainly is one I'd like to visit. Maybe hopefully we'll have the Luxembourg Grand Prix back one day, and when Nürburgring starts hosting it, and maybe the San Marino Grand Prix whilst we're at it as well. Sven Newman in ninth place. He's trying to get past Chris Prescott and Prince Cook. Cook looks like the slowest out of these guys, or is it? No, I think Cook actually came past Prescott quite recently, as Collins has gone off the circuit. Very good drive for Tom Collins so far, but that is enough for him, and such is the closeness of that pack. Drops down to 16th place. Just got Brian Crow now behind him after his big spin earlier on in the event. Newman has got past Prescott then, and he's got Brendan Cook then further up the road to deal with.
Interestingly there, Mattia Fellini 0.4 of a second quicker than Loubich last time around, who's just maybe it was Loubich getting past Dara Adrianson's has maybe done that, but it was Mattia Fellini's fastest lap of the race, so he's on the move. He's kind of lost touch a little bit with Loubich, but it's been a really strong drive, and I think the one thing about Fellini is, Sam, is that, as we mentioned, he's been the guy who's made the least mistakes, and that's why he's still in with a look at this championship. Nezov's won a lot more races, but Fellini's been there all the time, just booking the points when he needs to.
Yeah, he's been under the radar, hasn't he? Really, yet to win a race so far this season. Only a couple of podiums as well. I think that's better pardon when he managed to get up a couple of podiums. Hasn't visited the podium too many times since then, though. But yeah, whilst we have the pit lane start back at Montreal, of course, for Nesov, I think Fellini's got away without any penalties so far this season, of course, also avoiding blowing up his engine. So good work from him, but these are the types of races where you really need to capitalise on your rivals' mistakes and yeah, take a nice chunk of points out of them if you can. Yeah, just about time till Cook gets overtaken by Newman. These guys are 15 seconds off the lead. It's still very close as the entire pack. I mean, really can't understate just how good some of the drivers are outside the top 10. It's just taking them a bit longer to be able to get their way up the order so far. Chris Bescott now next up on Cook. Gap between the two leaders, by the way, 3 seconds. It peaked at about 4.2 seconds. It's now down to 2.9. That last lap, Danny Lee closed in by about half a second, and Lau Beach was a further 0.2 of a second quicker. So if they keep this going, then I think we might see the top 3 all converge on one another in about 3 laps' time.
And that would be really set us up nicely for a grandstand finish here under the cover of darkness at Zolder. And oh, Matthias Beers had an issue. What has happened to the German Austin Powers? He's maybe had to pull over to deal with Dr. Evil, maybe. Let's see. Oh, and that Dr. Evil coming in the form of a curb. Now, I think he's maybe serving a slow down. Oh, no. Be careful. That could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah. The avoidance from these guys so far has been really good. Whenever a driver's spun, the drivers use their brakes, if the viewers are familiar with what those are, and helpfully avoid the crash. So yeah, nice job for those guys. We've got a very slow car on the inside. That was David Gowrie doing a very good job of letting these guys go. I say that, it's kind of put Atkinson's a bit offline there, but I don't think too much time was lost. Palach passed Cook. Oh, Cook's going to have a long night. He's lost some places there to Cook. Well, maybe it's going to be a slightly shorter night now for him, because he's all those places that I thought he'd lose over the next 10 minutes. He's lost in about 10 seconds there. At least he can look forwards ahead of looking behind. Actually, Tom Collins as well, losing quite a few places. Now Tom Brown with an issue. Brown, of course, won race 2 back at Interlagos, but that is a mistake, I think, from Brown. He's dropped down to 11th, but he's trying to get straight back past Engel. Oh, they almost did dominoes there. That's avoided one another. Brown down to 11th.
Also noticed that there's been a little bit of transfer deadline day here in the Apex Racing League GT Championship, because Tom Brown did enter as a privateer. He was running unliveried basically in the Scarlet Red of Ferrari, and he has been picked up by Indy Autosport. So as if they didn't have enough of the grid already, they've added Tom Brown to their ranks, and I think that, given that his performance at Interlagos, I think that was a very wise signing indeed.
Yeah, trying to create a bit of a monopoly, I think, over this series. They can't lose if they got all the drivers. Yes, very smart sliding. Ooh, that was close, wasn't it? A bit unnecessary. Cook's lost loads of time right there. Crane and Beer both moving past. A very good driver is Tom Brown, new driver to the championship. I think quite new to iRacing, genuinely. So it was only a matter of time till he got picked up by one of the teams. I see him, part of Indy Autosport, of course, and we'll be scoring points for that team from this point onwards in the championship. That is a pro team, so not exactly fighting for the title, but still worth trying to get up into the top 3. That's certainly a possibility. Dean Powell with another issue. Dean was so quick last season. Of course, you did the race course last season as well, so you'll know better than anyone. But he was, of course, the amateur champion by a massive margin as well. We know that he's got the pace. Just maybe with these slightly bigger grids that we've got this season, tricky to put it on paper, tricky to spend an entire 40 minutes without making a mistake.
You're absolutely right. I did find myself typing his name on so many occasions in last season in the Apex Racing League GT Championship race reports. This race report for this particular event will be out about midweek, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and all race reports for the Apex Racing League series, which we all publish on our website. So, about, where are we? 16 minutes to go. So what's that? About, hard to say, about 10 laps or so. So not long to go here at Zolder. And Chris Van den Ness is still leading. And I tell you what, you've got to give him so much credit, Sam, because he has not flinched at all. He's been out there in the front and just clicking off those laps consistently and not letting himself get flustered by looking down the order and looking at Laubich's lap times or perhaps Bellini's lap times. Just going about his business and making them do all the hard work.
Yeah, he made another personal best on that last lap. So yeah, keeping up to a great pace. As we've seen, just losing a few places there was, well, it was Tom Collins, I think, and he might lose another place here. Oh, the guys slow each other so much up here. That is Krone, Beer, and Kittelman behind. Kittelman, excellent race one, has had a tricky race too. Lee has a little bit of a smaller, but that's no problem for him. Beer, apologies, yeah, behind the, it's Collins who is dropping down the order, but Krone and Beer kind of preoccupying themselves, allowing their rival to get away. Near the front, yeah, they have all converged with one another here. It's Laubich who's caught up to Lee first, but he's not far away from Van den Ness either. These cars are so quick, especially with this cooler truck temperature. It is pretty frightening to see for these drivers. They're racing around this Zolder circuit at a fantastic pace right now. Dan Atchinson's 4 seconds behind Matteo Fulini, not making much progress, not great pace for Fulini, but I'm sure he'll pick up the pieces if something happens between these top three. As Daniel Lee with a very good second half to this lap. He is right on the tail now of Chris Van den Ness. So we've got a 14-minute shootout between three very good drivers.
That we do, yes, indeed. Now, who is going to make the first move here as Van den Ness responds with his best lap of the race, actually slightly quicker than Lee, but Laubich is right into the 124s now, mid 124s for Laubich, so he's nearly a second quicker than Van den Ness and Daniel Lee. However, it is far from decided, this battle here. Van den Ness has been so good out in front up to now, and he's answered the call when he's needed to. He's brought out his fastest lap of the race as Daniel Lee's headlights have got larger and brighter in his mirror. So, can he hang on? That is the question. And as you can see, Daniel Lee very good in the mid-corner there through the chicane at Villeneuve chicane. So, you got to think, when is Laubich going to make his move and where?
Waiting
no time
so far. Here comes Lee. Oh, that was a bit of a half move, wasn't it? That wasn't really a proper commitment, but surprised that he went quite that early, and it's now put Laubich right on these guys. He's got to be looking behind, but yeah, so far Laubich has wasted absolutely no time in getting past. I think the hairpin has been a good one for Laubich, but he's kind of got past maybe the slower drivers, I think, the hairpin. I don't think he'll be able to pull off that move on these guys. I think they're too quick through the chicane beforehand in order to kind of be left vulnerable there. Lee's really short at cutting up some of these corners, taking quite tight entry. He needs to kind of wait behind a few corners, take normal racing lines, and then pull the trigger. I just feel like he's doing a few too many half moves here. Now, this is where Lee managed to get past Atkinson's earlier on in the race, so apologies, Krone earlier on in the race. If he does stick the car up the inside, there's not a whole lot that the leader would be able to do. He's tried that. Oh, they've both gone wide, and Lee will take the lead surely because it was across the inside there. And, well, Lee takes the lead then. He kind of scared off Van den Ness in the end, and Laubich moves up into second.
Interesting to get a replay of that from Daniel Lee's perspective, because I have a feeling they made contact there, but I could be wrong. It just felt that way. And of course that then sort of ricocheted Van den Ness's car off circuit, which then gave him a slowdown penalty. So it wasn't as if he could just gas it up and carry on. As Daniel Lee way onto the gravel.
I think that was a
previous lap, yes. So it shows you how hard Daniel Lee was pushing before that point. Here we go, great work from our producer Sam Kumo. So yeah, so Daniel Lee does go for it. I don't think they did make contact, no.
It was just the lead.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicholas Dalbeach gets ahead. There he is. He's up into the lead then. So once he got past Van der Nesse, he quickly managed to make his way past Lee. He was all over the back of him through the last part of that last lap, and he has taken the lead. And well, after being overtaken by Nessel once again in race 1, it looks as though he might well get his first race win of the season, and from 16th on the grid as well. It would be a meteoric effort from him. Here was the move then. So he was I think he forced Lee offline into the chicane, and then, well, if Lee doesn't like that move, then he kind of did the exact same thing on Van der Nesse just a few corners previously. So these guys just sticking up their nose on the inside. Maybe that's what you have to do at Zolder. It's a narrow circuit. If you do, gesture to that side, the other driver's going to have to turn out of the corner, and that is how Dalbeach has pretty much got into the lead.
Well, now I think this is where, if Daniel Lee has any aspiration to win this race, which of course he does, he really needs to somehow muster the speed to try and upset Dalbeach's rhythm and try and retaliate as best he can. It's going to be a tough ask, because really Nicholas Dalbeach has been a bit of the class of the field tonight. Actually qualified on pole, just missed out to his teammate Alexei Nezov in race 1, but really got the job done up to now really well in race 2. But I think if he gets a clean couple of sectors here from Daniel Lee, he'll be gone.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, I think Dalbeach has this one in the bag. As you say, he was so good in qualifying. He was good in race 1. It looks faster than Nessov in race 1. It's tricky to call, because maybe just settling for first and second in that order. But he's had the pace tonight as Dalbeach. He's sprinting away, and Daniel Lee's a properly good job. Runner-up last season, of course, to the defending champion Tom McMahon, who isn't taking part this season. He has a big slide, and that's just going to open up the gap more. Lee, though, this would be his first podium of the season. I'm not quite sure. He is up there in the championship, isn't he? He's had lots of top 10s, but it'll be his first podium of the season after narrowly missing out on a couple of occasions back at Phillip Island. And also Van der Nesse making a big mistake. Oh, that's not what he needed, because Foulini is going to be onto his tail. Well, if Van der Nesse hadn't have made that mistake, I think Foulini wouldn't have had a chance to catch up. But now the Dutch driver has got the Italian in his mirrors. And Drew Becker, look at Becker's pace. He's catching up to the second place man in the championship. Well, Drew Becker, I don't know where this performance has come from in the last couple of rounds, but wow, he's one of the fastest drivers out on circuit right now.
Yeah, absolutely amazing from the American driver. And he mentioned to us in his post-race interview after his double victory at Montreal in class, he said just everything was just starting to click together. He was really starting to get the hang of it, and it's amazing. Motorsport is such a confident sport. It's all in the mind, and particularly in sim racing, because obviously the physical exertion is not quite the same as it would be driving a real-world racing car. So, for that matter, then puts even more emphasis on the mental side. So Drew Becker getting that couple of wins under the belt, really feeling like he's making progress, and he's just riding the crest of the wave of that confidence right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I mean, he's got quite a few points to catch up in the Amateur Championship. Let's keep up this, and he could well do it. Of course, this is a 12-meeting championship, 24 races. This is meeting 5 of the season, so still over half the season remaining for these drivers to duke it out. So yeah, Foulini got quite a bit to lose in this race now, but still third place. Possibly takes a bit more time out of Van der Nesse on that last lap, but did continue to lose time to Drew Becker behind, who's making probably going to have his entry fee back with all this prize money that he's accumulating. Of course, in this series, you can sign up. There are a few spots available, so if you go to apexracingleague.com, you can go sign up to this GT Championship. You can also sign up to the ARL Touring Car Championship as well on a Thursday night. The Porsche Cup Championship on a Wednesday night. There's a discounted fee as well for that one. And also the Apex Racing League Master Cup, which me and Peter are massive fans of. We're commentating on that tomorrow night. Still 5 more rounds of that to go, and that's all 3 circuits in the MX-5 Master. Lots of places free on that one, but still a decent sized field already. Really do recommend checking that one out if you're if you're a fan of good racing, frankly. Sign up to the ARL Master Cup on apexracingleague.com. As love this graphic, you can see the time difference between Van der Nesse and Bullini, and you can see how Bullini has been dipping into that gap consistently over the last few laps.
Yeah, Van der Nesse just running out of steam a little bit here, and Fellini starting to turn the screw. Now, we must give a huge shout out to Brooker 0013 Gaming, because Brooker 0013 Gaming has loved the night race. He says it's nice to see a night race, isn't this fantastic? And then Mark Hutchison throws you under the bus, Sam, and said it was a mistake, but I think we can style this one out. I think we can spin it that this was absolutely meant, and because actually I think a night race or two throughout the championship is fantastic, because GT racing is normally, these cars are racing in 12 and 24-hour races all around the world, so this is their natural habitat.
I've still got some more convincing to do. I like seeing the cars. I like late afternoon and morning. I like that type of weather. I like the idea of, it's a Sunday late evening, and the drivers are going around. I'm not a big fan of this all-out night, but maybe we'll try it. Also,
you're always right, Sam.
Oh, lead!
As Daniel,
lead. No, Bish. Oh no! Oh no! Well, Nicholas Laubish, who has lost out on some race wins very narrowly so far this season, has made a crucial mistake, and it looks like it's a very similar mistake to what we saw to Kane Halliburton do in the Radical Racing Challenge, and it's Daniel Lee into the lead. I cannot believe this, Peter. You can't see them, but my hands are on my head, because Laubish, just as you think he's got the race win in the bag, he's been able to throw it away.
Isn't this so entertaining here under the darkness of Zolder, folks? Let us know in the chat what you think. Wow. Oh, I am absolutely gutted for Nicholas Laubish. So he's now getting a bit desperate. Be careful. A little bit of contact there with Fellini. That won't go down well. Oh my. Oh, Nicholas. It's such a tiny mistake and such big consequences. Of course, it's coming out the exit of the Jackie X chicane. It's so narrow on the pit straight there, and just hit the wall. It was spun and then hit the wall. Somehow still in 4th position, and he's now driving, I would imagine, pretty hot right now. Fellini is probably thinking, this is sketchy. Oh, that's a big lunge. But Fellini, gives him good respect there from Fellini. That is why Fellini is second in this championship. He just plays it very, very smart.
Yeah, it's not worth Bullini battling this one, because Laubish is a second and a lap faster. Laubish could still catch up to Van der Nesse here, but he won't be able to catch up to Lee, I imagine. So that's gone on with, Brown's just got past Kroon. I think Pierce just had a bit of an off as well, so a few things happening down the order. Here was Kroon actually on a scabby. Nice move. There we go. Up the inside. Oh no, it's not a good move. It's a dreadful move. Oh, it's a horrible move. They're both lost out. It's the worst move I've seen in my life. It's Spear, what are you playing at, mate? I was playing it up, and he's let down there. It's I'd say rejoin, not quite, but almost ticks all the boxes there. Alexei Nesov benefits from that then, albeit it's a little bit further up, but Nesov, after blowing his engine, got the faster pair, and he is up into 16th place. I thought he might get into the top 15. He might still do that. He's got to be a bit further up the road. But nice comeback, really doing everything that he could do after that mistake at this corner earlier on in the race. As Dominic Engel also just makes his way past Chris Prescott. Very frustrating race too this has been for Dominic Engel, and course sim racing on the whole, because Sven Newman's the highest placed driver there in 6th position, but that's as good as it has got for them in this second race of the evening, as we might be on the last lap of the race. I think we are on the last lap of this race.
I think, yeah, it's certainly going to be very close anyway. Maybe just get one more. Danny Lee will certainly be hoping it's the last lap of the race. And what an absolute thriller it has been here in the feature race at Zolder. Amazing circuit under the darkness. Really, really superb. And Danny Lee, well, you called it, Sam. You called it. That Danny Lee was a guy to watch, and I hope you put a few quid on.
Yeah, well, I'll be paid out by Colbek for letting one of their drivers win the race. Of course, I deliberately put it at night because Daniel's been practicing all week in these conditions.
He's actually a vampire. Daniel Lee is a vampire.
Yeah, yeah. So he'll be, he's almost to the line now. 15 seconds to go. Oh, it'll be close, won't it? It might even be worth him slowing down slightly. I think this is going to be it though. We've only got 8 seconds to go. Leads quick, but he's not going to make it round in time. And so, for the first time this season then, it is Colbek and Danny Lee to take the race win. Race 2 at Zolder. Goes to Daniel Lee, his first race win of the season. His 3rd race win, I believe, in Apex Racing League GT history. Great result for Chris Van Den Esse, his best result ever in the championship. Nicholas Laubisch, though, he will be kicking himself for that mistake, which denies him the race win. Nessel is trying to get past Matthias Beer here. They've got Brent Cook just up the road. And Nessel, well, how aggressive will he be down into this final chicane? It's not worth picking up a penalty, but it is worth trying to pick up one more place. Beer stays alongside. It's that contact between the two of them. It's going to be a brilliant move, surely, from Nessel. It is a lovely move, and he does get into the top 15. Damage limitation with Pulini only finishing in 4th place. He doesn't lose too many points right there. Nessel with a very good recovery that could well be important come the championship end. Tolman and Burke round out the field. Of course, Drew Becker wins out in the amateur category. Dara Adjensons with another great result for Dara to finish in 2nd position in that category. And Kevin Kitzelman, race 1 winner in the amateur category, finishing in 11th place overall. Yeah, Broomfield, I think the only driver yet to get to the line, but it's taken a while, and well, almost it feels like a surprise, Peter, to us, because I was so sure that Laubisch was going to win that race. Daniel Lee, all of a sudden, on the top step of the podium.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the unpredictability of night racing, Sam, which unpredictability is good for entertainment.
You know when you make a mistake and it's like a butterfly effect and it causes lots and lots of aggro for the future. That's what's happened tonight. Anyway, Daniel Lee wins out ahead of Chris Van Den Esse. Yeah, great result for Van Den Esse. He gets my drive of the day. Even though he did deliberately drop back in race 1, I'm sure, because he is always at the front for the race 2. Hopefully we'll have a chat with him and get some answers out of him to why he's always starting at the front for the race 2s. Nicholas Laubisch in 3rd position. It's another podium, but it's another race win that has got away from him. Matteo Fulini finishes in 4th, and it was Drew Becker top of the amateur drivers and really launching that attack for the amateur title win. Then it was Sven Newman, Dara Adjensons, Make Palich, Jensen Adjensons, and Joy Vakutsi rounding out the top 10. Good drive actually there from Vakutsi after starting quite far down. Then it was Kevin Kitzelman, Tom Brown, Brian Crone, Brent Cook, Alexei Nessov, Matthias Beer, Dominic Engel, Chris Prescott, Ronald Grossman, Dean Powell, Marco Tolman, Steve Burke, Dave Chadwick, Anton Galmetzer, Stephen Broomfield, David Gowrie, Tom Bingham, Derek Holland, Tom Collins, and James Crouch rounded out the top 30. In fact, the top 29 all score points. Yeah, Crouch, Chambers, and Sykes do not score points in the end. Sykes did not take the starts, unfortunately, for that race. Hopefully we'll see him back in the future. well, we haven't got anyone for a chat at the moment. That is shocking, but I will quickly give a shout out to another one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. 29 data packs for Apex Racing Academy, featuring setups and track guides from some of the best drivers in iRacing, some World Championship drivers, really showing their tips and their setups for the 29 different cars in iRacing. So do check that one out. That's got prototypes, single seaters, rallycross cars even as well. There's also integrated with Virtual Racing School. There are weekly group coaching sessions and many more, much more as well. So do check out apexracing.ac.com for more information on that one. Still, the drivers just don't want to have a chat with us at the moment. I desperately try to think what our next round of the championship is. I should be able to find it nice and quickly in just a second. It is Donington, the national circuit, not even the international. So I'm looking forward to this one. We were planning on having GT team actually around that circuit as well. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But at least we've got the Sunday series for that one, Peter. You know, when we were making the calendar, I just thought we haven't visited Donington yet, and the international circuit's not very good. So we may as well keep all the good bits and get rid of the bad.
Yes, it's interesting. The international part, or I think it's often it's often known as the Melbourne Loop as well, where you go through what's called the Fogarty chicane into this kind of loop around, and then back to where you would make the final chicane normally on the national layout. And Eddie Lawson, 4-time motorcycle world champion, Grand Prix motorcycle world champion, and he referred to it as a parking lot. He wasn't a fan, was Eddie Lawson. And Eddie Lawson was such a man of few words, but he had absolutely no problem in sharing his opinion, no matter how good or bad it made people feel.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the circuit. You know, you've got some brilliant sweepers left and right to the rest of the track, and then a couple of hairpins. But no, the national layout next time out. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Are there floodlights there? I don't know. They should be on standby, honestly, just in case this happens again. We are going to have a chat with our Race 2 winner. First race winner of the season as well, for Daniel Lee. Congratulations, Daniel. We'll go through the evening chronologically. Race 1, I don't actually recall what happened to you on turn 1. We didn't actually see a replay of it ever. Talk us through what happened there. Was it contact?
No contact. Nobody touched me. It was a case of if you'd have seen it, you'd have seen how it went. It would have basically, I was there 1 second and then gone the next. Took a middle line to defend from, I think it was Newman, and that just upset me for turn 1 somehow. I don't know, the car felt like a bit of a whale in the initial opening laps, and it just got a little bit loose, and in the effort to correct it, went completely the other way and spun off. So it was an absolute tank slapper, and that meant I was back down to the back of the grid for race 1 on turn 1. And considering the amount of practice I've done this week for this track, that was a bit of a punch in the mouth.
Yeah, I can imagine. Were you aware of what the reverse grid was? Wait, how far you needed to get back up?
Not sure where the reverse grid was ahead of time. Nobody feeds that information to me. It's probably best I don't know. And all I knew was I needed to get above 14 to be in with a shot. I didn't want to miss out by 1. But I knew I was in the running at some point.
Awesome. And then it's night. Don't know if you noticed. Headlights were quite prominent. I was hoping you didn't. Shoot. What was going through your mind when you jumped into the grid?
Well, it's always exciting, to be honest with you. A bit like Motegi with fog. We love these kind of little sprinkles of seasoning on races that are normally really normal. You know, daytime, perfect conditions. But Zolder at night is probably one of the worst ones to end up being not floodlit, because turn 1 is basically blind. Turn 2 and 3 are the same. I saw a few people getting really squirrely coming out of turn 1 and 2. Really hard to judge. So that really did. It was a filter. If you didn't have a good grip of yourself, you were going to go off.
And then you saw, well, of course, a lot happened in that race too. You managed to get yourself up into second position. And then you saw Nicholas go off. I mean, have you been able to have a look back at his incident?
Yeah, I've had a look. It was a gift. I mean, Tom McMahon probably had that happen a couple of times, probably courtesy of me last season. It was nice to be on the other end of the gift for once. I don't know what happened. I think it was just a case of, for once, Nicholas, who's usually immaculate, got struck by the humanity factor and just made a mistake. He just got too greedy on the outside. We've all done it. I probably did it on turn 1, on race 1, lap 1, just by being greedy and holding the middle line. It's just these human little things that come along to completely screw at your race. But yeah, seeing him sideways, couldn't believe it, because I knew then there was not enough time left in the race. If I held it together, it was in the bag.
Yes. Well, congratulations, Danny, on the race win. It's been a while coming, but you were absolutely thoroughly deserve it. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to the grid for being really entertaining to race with today. There were some muscly overtakes, I've got to say. I need to look back at a few of them, but everybody did a really good job of racing clean. It was really fun. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast and the league administration, and thanks to Colbek Systems. Go and vote for Driver of the Day and award somebody with a medal that they probably don't want, but they're going to get anyway. Go vote.
I'd like it. I mean, if there's any spare, I'll have some. Yeah.
There won't be any spare. Everybody's going to be assigned their medal by the end of the season.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Danny, and yeah, we'll see you out next time.
Cheers. Thanks again.
Danny Lee there, your race 2 winner, first race win of the season. Peter, we've got a few to choose from. Who you gonna have a chat with next?
Ooh, why don't we get... I want to get Nicholas Laubish in here for a little chat. So here he is. Nicholas Laubish, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box. If I could, I would give you a hug. You were so close and just robbed at the last moment. Just tell us about your race.
Yeah, when the session started and I saw that everything is completely dark, I was a bit surprised. But it turns out it was a really nice race. It was way more fun than I expected, especially going to the field there. It was extremely fun. There are also a lot of competent and competitive drivers in here, which know how to drive too wide through corners. And it was such a nice race, and my pace was actually pretty good, I think. But then, yeah, in the last corner in the exit, I clipped the grass with a left-right tire, with a left rear tire, and yeah, then I just spun. I had no chance to do anything there.
Oh, it was so close. You're right. I think your pace was better than anyone. Of course, in qualifying, it's not easy to get one over on your teammate Alexei Nezov. But out qualifying, I'm starting on pole. You must have been happy with that. Talk us through the qualifying lap. Did it all hook up how you wanted?
To be fair, I just didn't had a lot of time to practice before. The first laps I did was when I got on this server. So I didn't had any time for qualifying practice. I just needed to learn the track a bit more with the GTEs. Then I was extremely surprised when I got P1 there. It was actually a pretty good lap. Unluckily, Alexei got an off track. I think otherwise, if it would be a valid lap time, it would have been faster. But yeah, P1 and P2 for us is extremely good, I think. And yeah, can't really get anything more out of a qualifying than 1 and 2.
Indeed. No, you can't. Well, that's even more impressive, Nicholas, with a lack of practice, and then somebody switches the lights off, and
Yeah.
you've got to try and find your way around. Now, we've got, looking at the calendar for the rest of the season, we're going to some incredible venues. Is there any in particular that you've got your eye on?
I think the last one is gonna be, yeah, a bit spicy. Long Beach, the final race is gonna be very hard. I hope we won't have another compilation like we had of Twitch moments where guys crashed in the last corner, and there were so big pileups. I hope that's not gonna be the case for us. But yeah, like tracks like Sebring and Spa, Sonoma are, I think, great tracks for racing and just in general. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty good season.
I think it will be. Nicholas, thank you so much for coming in to chat to us. Hard luck at the end there, but a good result nonetheless. Thanks for coming to chat to us. I just want to give him a hug, Sam. He was so close.
Yeah. It's his shame for Nicholas. I think after tonight, it's only a matter of time, isn't it? So Nicholas gets a race win. If he doesn't win one, we'll make like another race until he does. You know, that's what friends do. Next interview. Oh, there's two exceptional choices. I'd love to have a chat with both of them, but I think I had a chat with Drew last time, so I'll bring up Chris Vandenesse for I believe the first time this season. Not the first time this season though, Chris. That you've started on reverse grid pole. Now, be honest with me. Have you been deliberately waiting in race 1 in order to get reverse grid pole? Because I'm pretty sure that's 3 races in a row now that you've started on the front row.
No, I actually didn't know where the reverse grid was. I forgot to check before the start of the race, but I was quite lucky to end up there because in the last lap, the person in front of me actually spun, so I managed to get back in P17. While a couple laps before that, I actually spun and fell back to that position, so it was quite going back and forth in P17, but I was very lucky to get a pole position in the end.
Now, many drivers, I'm sure, will complain, oh, that it was at night, oh, we didn't do any practice, oh, we can't see where we're going, blah, 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 blah. Now, you properly had it tough because you didn't have anyone in front of you for pretty much that entire race too. How was it driving into the darkness?
Well, when I actually gridded the first time, I thought something was wrong with my GPU or anything because I couldn't see anything. But being first is actually kind of an advantage, I think, because you don't really have to mess with anyone around you. You can actually guess where your braking points are, where your new turn-in points are, whatever, in front with nobody else bothering you pretty much. And it also quite helped that I managed to get a really good gap in the first couple of laps behind me, so I actually had some room to experiment where to brake and where to turn in.
You were caught eventually by Danny Lee, who went for an ambitious move, I think, down into the chicane. What was your view on your battle with Daniel?
Well, I think I have to watch it back properly, but basically I saw him dive onto the inside and I kind of had to take evasive action there because I don't think we would have made it through that corner together. But yeah, I'll have to watch it back and see who's to blame for that. But it was quite unfortunate because I was looking forward to having a little battle for the lead there.
Definitely. But it's still a second place. I believe, is that your best result in series history? It must be, surely.
Yeah, it's my first podium of any league, actually. So it's I'm pretty happy with that.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Hopefully you keep it up for the rest of the season. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Tom, of course, and Alex of Performance Link for basically giving me the opportunity to race here. I also want to give a little shout out to Drew Becker because we basically tinkered with the setup a little bit before the race.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Chris. See you at Donington next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris Vandenesse there for Performance Link Esports, finishing in second place in race 2. Some great interviews we've been able to have. We've got one more. I believe highest scoring amateur driver of the day for 2 weeks in a row is Drew Becker. He's standing by with Peter.
Drew Becker, welcome to the commentary box, and it doesn't seem that long ago we were talking about your double win, just the single win tonight, but done in quite dramatic fashion, getting through on Dara late in the race. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Dara was holding it together nearly the entire race, and I think he hit that first chicane just a little off, and gave him a little bit of damage, so I was able to kind of sneak by him. But overall, I thought it was a really fun race. pretty consistently. Not too much craziness happening. Just a good time.
Now, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We certainly loved it in the commentary box. Now, what was going through your mind when the accidental curveball was thrown at you all, where somebody switched the lights off? Tell us about that.
I actually loved it. I think at the last interview I did with Motegi, I kind of mentioned how the fog helped me out because it allows me to kind of focus corner to corner, specifically in the dark. So obviously, it was kind of a, like you said, a curveball, but it was kind of a welcome one on my end. Obviously, everybody was nervous, but I thought it was a good time.
Absolutely, and we're trying to convince my broadcast colleague Sam Fitzpatrick that it's a good idea to have more night races. But it is, and of course at Zolder, there's some parts of the circuit that are so narrow. It must really build the sensation of speed, I suppose.
You would think. For the most part, it really wasn't too bad. I mean, you can't really see the edges of the track. So you're not really too worried about it. You're just kind of focused on that corner in front of you or the car in front of you. So it actually kind of narrowed it down a little bit to the point where I think it helped me focus.
As they say, aim between the trees, which always works. Now, Drew, you're certainly getting on to a rich vein of form in the last couple of rounds. We're heading off to Donington Park next week. Is that a circuit that you're familiar with?
Not really. I think I've maybe driven a total like 20 laps on Donington. So it's going to be fun, kind of like Motegi. Didn't have any experience there at all, so at least it makes the practice interesting, trying to learn the track. But, Kevin Kittleman and I have been putting in probably about 250 laps of practice over the last couple of weeks, at least on Motegi and Zolder. So I'm sure we'll be trying to do the same exact thing again.
Well, I've got good news for you. We're on the national layout, which is much shorter, and it's quite a quick lap in a GTE car. So you'll be able to get your 250 laps out the way and go and make a cup of tea. It'll be fine.
Hoping so.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Drew, thank you so much for coming in to chat to us. Thanks for hanging on, and well done on another great AM-class win.
Thank you very much. Give a quick shout out to the newest member of Indy Autosport, Tom Brown. Gave him a little love tap in race one, but he ended up doing pretty well. And then I think, Sam, you got to step up your pun game. You're starting to fall off on that.
I'm sorry. I'll get writing. I got uni to do, but priorities,
You
right.
poked the bear now, Drew. I think this is good. I think be careful what you wish for. I think we're Drew, thanks so much for coming in to chat to us, and looking forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Well, the gauntlet has been thrown down, Sam.
Yes. You see, what would be really smart here, but is if I could just deliver a nice Boris Becker pun. Right here, right now, but I can't. I'm empty. It's been a frantic night, and a lot of racing, a lot of energy expelled by us in the country box, and of course the drivers out on the circuit as well. Actually, I don't think we mentioned our other sponsor earlier on, so another shout out. You'll see their ads before the stream, and you'll see their ads after the stream as well. But of course, it's SDK Gaming. Apologies, not SDK Gaming. Virtual Racing School. Dear me, it has been a long evening. Which you can use with 50 data packs, over 50 data packs in fact, for road and oval racing. You can get setups, one-on-one coaching, data analysis software, and chat guides, all provided by Virtual Racing School, again by some of the best drivers in all of iRacing. So certainly do check them out. There's a bit of an ad after the broadcast as well, which you can watch, and also before the broadcast, so, which gives you a little bit more information on that. Big thanks to Virtual Racing School for helping us out on Apex Racing TV. It's always nice, Peter, to see a new winner for the season. I just hope that it can stay quite so unpredictable for the rest of the season. And while some drivers maybe aren't looking forward to Donington, I personally am. I think these GTE cars, at least hot lapping, must be huge fun around a high-speed circuit like Donington.
Oh yeah, especially in one of these GTE machines. They've got quite a lot of downforce, and there are certain bits of Donington, like going down Craner curves, through the old hairpin up towards Schwantz Curve. It's just a magnificent racetrack to enjoy, and yeah, I think we're going to be in for a real thriller.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to that one. We've got another Donington next week, and then we have another race straight after that. So we've got 3 races in 3 weeks for the Apex Racing League GT Championship. We've also got loads of other broadcasts going on as well. We are really in full swing for Apex Racing TV. Week 13 coming up, so it'll be slightly diminished, but we've still got the Apex Racing League Master Cup coming up tomorrow. That'll be round 2 of the championship. I think Okayama, the host for that one. The racing at Daytona last week was absolutely enthralling. Should be really good around that one, around Okayama as well. So looking forward to that, and yeah, loads of other series coming up, particularly next weekend. There's plenty of series underway, and lots of championship finales as well happening over this part of the iRacing season. So make sure to subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and you can catch all of those races which are coming up. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Peter Mackay, and from Sam Kume, we are going to say goodbye, and we will see you next Sunday for round 6 of the championship from Donington Park. See you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.